Dario Betti. Welcome to the podcast on blockchain. We talk with Daniele Menzi, one of the guys that is doing the real blockchain, not just talking about it, but today here he talks with us and about everything. We have any questions you might have as well, so do send us to them. But here it is, Daniele, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And I don't only talk, but I move also hands, as all the Italians. Yeah.
That's multitasking. That's been in Italian for you as well. Yeah. So thanks for being here again. And once again, a lot of topics in blockchain, but focus, because there are some companies that when they act by now on blockchain, everybody looks at what they're doing. One of them, I would say Facebook, and not just Facebook, but the consortium around Facebook. So we're talking about Libra. We've been talking a lot about Libra, Daniel. This is for people that have listened to us. This is no news. We might say, well, Libra, we've heard it all before. So what's happening? Is anything news?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, I give a tip to the people listening to the podcast, which is not to follow, let's say, paid PRs or any marketing messages that coming out in whatever crypto blockchain sites. But I encourage people to regularly check on the Libra website what's going on, because the content is changing continuously, which is pretty nice. The people changing, the members changing, even though it's not been announced. So it's very difficult to track all the changes that happened since we recorded the last podcast, and even the first one, where we were so excited about the upcoming launch of this fantastic initiative to adopt cryptocurrencies all over the world. But so here it's very important to, first of all, to get an update where we stand here, and simply looking at the members. Who are the members today on the so-called Libra Association? So many members that all people know, especially in telecom. In telecom there were only two actually, which is Vodafone and Iliad, and one of the two has left, which is Vodafone. So Iliad stayed. So 50% of the telco members left the association. Another big member, probably you have heard his name, which is PayPal, left earlier on this year. So rising the doubts about what's going on here. So the big guys leaving the consortium, while others coming in. Is the project changing shape? So as you know, if you recall, there were a lot of regulatory concern about the project. One of the main concerns of the project was from the regulator, because it was supposed to harm the stability of the US dollar. If you remember, we discussed about this point, mostly from the US regulator. So, and that's the main change that apparently has happened in the last days. There are some not press release, but unofficial media releases, which happened a few hours ago, about the change in the structure of the coin itself. So the coin itself was meant to be so-called stable coin backed by real world assets. Okay, what does it mean, real world assets? Real estate. It means currencies. It means bonds. Other financial instruments, very stable financial instruments, so as the price against, for example, US dollar wouldn't change that much. And eventually it could have been even more stable than US dollar in case of US dollar fluctuate over time, okay? So from a regulator perspective, this was considered as being a concern. And right now, the concept of this coin is being simplified by only, that's a guess, because until we see it, we cannot really speculate what is going to happen. But the coin itself is likely to be pegged against US dollar. So this means 1 Libra equal 1 US dollar over time. There's no concern about it, right?
Well, then one of the key things we discussed last time, the stable coin, right, is probably not there, but others are still. So it's still a payment system. Is it an international payment system? What are they doing? Are they going for a global approach or country by country now?
Well, it's difficult to say what they're doing before they're doing it. So what they will be doing eventually, we will see when they will start doing it. But what we believe they will be doing is they will introduce a payment system within the Facebook ecosystem. As simple as that. So you can decide which payment system you wanna implement. So for example, you can simply add a credit card, as today. So what does it mean, technically speaking? Every time someone has to pay for something at Facebook, has to go through Visa, MasterCard, whoever, they charge a fee for the transaction. And also being a standalone network, they apply their own rule to validate or eventually to reject transactions, to post-process those transactions over time. So in fact, Facebook, which is a huge conglomerate, is somehow dependent on those payment providers. Okay, if you remember, also some of them were part of the Libra Association. Now they're no longer part of it. So this means they want to have their own currency to transact independently by any other network. Okay, so this means any payment that comes into Facebook network comes into their payment system independently by anything else. Step number one. Step number two, if you have, imagine we go to the limit and we say they implement their own Visa-like circuit, but at the same time, they're still dependent on the currency they use to transact. Currency, or eventually a basket of currencies that have to be exchanged each other. For example, euro, US dollar. So then you have to swap those currencies. You have to exchange. You have to act like a financial or a settlement platform, right? So to simplify this, they create their own currency, which is one and only one. So every time, that's my understanding, every time you want to make a payment using Facebook or using the Facebook ecosystem, you're going to use Libra, and then I can send you money or I can pay you for a service via Facebook or Facebook API independently by anything else. So in fact, this is a kind of a replacement of a traditional payment platform. Not only that, but this might facilitate, depending how it's been implemented, the fact that people in some countries that have some difficulties to be banked, they can get access to payment-like platform in a kind of simplified manner.
Well, it's time as well then to go back to what we said, because if I remember, when it came out, we were very positive about somebody making so much noise. So great if Facebook was doing it. That was you rightly, I think, pointed out, and so did we through our analysis later, but there were some areas, governance and acceptance from regulators, or another one, the functionality of a stablecoin. Now, some of those have been addressed. And finally, was a questions about is going to be used as a way to unify Africa and lots of the unbanked. Even some of that question, especially now, going back to US dollar, some of that, it might probably be less of an emphasis. However, I would say, well done to Facebook. Even if they've changed so radically the project, they're still there. They're still believing in something, and they're still putting a lot of investment in these. So, to you, Daniele, asking the positive spin, what do you think that the Facebook and the rest of the world in blockchain will get out of his project with Libra? Is it going to make a difference, really, despite some of the things been changing and put aside? Is it still a relevant project overall?
Well, once Facebook take action into something, is definitely relevant, because we're talking about 2 billion people there. So indeed, it is highly relevant, the fact they're taking steps there. How this will change or will impact the whole blockchain or cryptocurrency ecosystem is difficult to say, because right now we are in a super transition phase, while big players coming in, stepping into the game, PayPal, just to name it. As of Jan, PayPal will add the possibility to pay into cryptocurrencies to the 27 million merchants. We recorded a podcast about it. So it's difficult to see how eventually the shift driven by Facebook will impact an industry that is widely changing by different directions. So there are many changes happening at the same time. It's difficult to isolate the impact of one of these towards the big change. I would say when it comes down to adoption, it is always good. As soon as people starting to understand what does it mean to use a digital coin as a replacement of traditional fiat money, so the US dollar, the euro, whatever, I think it introduced, I call it optionality. So once people have more options, then they can think about it, how they can improve their life, how can improve their, the way to make transactions, whatever. To me, this is simpler than the traditional finance, because understanding how the traditional finance works for normal people like me and you, it's complicated. So the normal people in the world, especially in areas which are less educated, it's completely difficult to understand for them that perhaps they don't even have access to a debit card. That for us it's simply obvious. People at 12 years old have a debit card here in Europe. So to me, is not much about what will be the impact, but is much more about how they're going to implement this and make it truly accessible to the normal people that today don't have access to the traditional service. And this is the how. So to me, the how makes much more difference than the what.
So let me see, from what you just mentioned, the two things came to my mind. You mentioned PayPal, and it's great merchant supply side. So people will accept through a blockchain solution of different types, but through PayPal. So big change there. And then you pointed out how the 2 billion users of Facebook could be the big demand shape as well. So things are moving in probably slightly different direction, but they're moving in the entire market. So it seems to be, get ready, something is shaking the market anyway.
I would say there's a, I hope, that's my hope, because this is a project that I've been launching 2 years ago in Singapore. So in fact, every social media like platform, obviously there's not many platforms like Facebook in the world, but let's say every social media platform is highly pressured by costs, okay, and especially transaction costs, whatever they are, payments, influencing but they're highly pressured about it, okay. So right now, when it comes down to process payments via traditional circuit, using, if you're on a mobile, using both Android or Apple, doesn't really matter much. At the end of the day, you end up in paying approximately 30% of whatever you charge to the end clients, okay? 30%, it's high for businesses like this that are highly challenged on costs. That's why people like Facebook, as soon as they realize they can implement their payment system, and they are no longer subject to this, then they can decide to have obviously a lower fee or even a zero fee, and then having a higher margin. So to long story short, to me here there are two types of let's say improvements. One is how you can increase operational efficiency, which is purely business driven by the platform that is issuing the coin, so in this case Libra. And the other one is which is truly related to the community, how community can take a benefit out of it. Can they pay less? Can they get more? Can they connect easily and frictionless than what they're doing today on Facebook? So again, this depends how this is being implemented. But long story short, my comment here is it is a positive development, no matter how it's going to be developed, no matter how it's going to be released, because it creates a model that, in my view, will be widely adopted by any transactional platform.
Great. And then finally, for people that want to be in the know, I spotted one change in name, which is probably the less relevant of them all, but I'll ask you anyway. So we once presented Libra, the forum, the actual structure for the currency itself, and then a specific product for Facebook, which at the time was the wallet called Calibra, if I'm
yeah.
Now, what I've read through the news is that's, at least it had a cosmetic change of name. Is it called Novi now? I don't
right.
know.
Novi.
Why the change?
Italian Novi is a chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're moving from different ingredients of, but what does it mean? Why changing a name for a product you haven't even launched yet?
I mean, it's a matter of perception. So you want to somehow disconnect. I mean, that's my 2 cents or 2 dime comment here, which is not valuable. But at the end of the day, to me, is much more about creating a shift from something bad that has been highly, let's say, highly considered as being kind of a bad thing because they stopped the project because people left from the former Libra association group, and trying to reshape a bit. Obviously, you cannot change the name of Libra. They invested a hell amount of money in branding this, and this is already there. So Calibra, it's something that has been used by someone already, and then trying to reshape into Novi. Long story short, it's the same thing. I mean, they didn't even start doing retail marketing for that. To me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So here we go. Lots of development, lots of changes, some of them meaningful, some of them less so.
Yes, absolutely.
For the time being, you've just heard a bit of a rundown of what is happening with Facebook and its blockchain project and the different partners behind them as well. I got the feeling that this is not the last chapter for us.
As we said last time.
We, just like a few last times, we'll come back to these. And the good thing here, Daniele, is that there might be a launch in 2021 being discussed now. That will be great. By that time, we will see the actual products we can actually talk about.
Looking forward to it. We're just waiting the approval from the Swiss regulatory, so the monetary authority. So hopefully this will happen in the first quarter 2021. We don't know exactly. Looking forward to it. We're waiting for this launch because we want to comment what's going there.
Great. Daniele, this is all the time we got for this week, but until the next chapter, as I keep on saying, and thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Dario.